Hello, everybody. This is Tinkadink, better known as Jeremy. Or am I better known as Tinkadink? I don't know what I'm better known as, but anyways, it is a Tinkadink channel. And we have a special video today. It's actually going to be a podcast. I have a friend who wants to get into podcasting, so he's actually the one doing this. But I figured since I'm a guest on this particular episode you're about to hear, I would post it on my channel. So, little background. My friend is the biggest Phil Collins fan on the planet. And I am not exaggerating when I say that. That is his favorite singer ever. So over the years, I know of Phil Collins. I know his greatest hits, of course. But I couldn't tell you anything about him. I couldn't tell you the name of any of his albums. I couldn't tell you any songs that were not played on the radio. That's the only place I've heard any of his songs is on the radio. And I think he's good, I thought some of his songs are fine. So I came up with an idea I thought would be fun to come up with our top 10 Phil Collins songs and then rate all of his albums as well. And I thought it'd be fun because you'd have one person who is a die-hard Phil Collins fan and then somebody else who is more a casual Phil Collins fan. So I went through all the albums and I came up with my list. He came up with his list. Now, unfortunately, when we recorded the episode, he didn't really know what he was doing because he just started this podcasting thing. So when he played it back, it turned out I was not even on the show. He did not record my side. So unfortunately, everything we recorded was for nothing. So then, instead of doing it all over again and pretending to react to each other, he just recorded his part separate and I recorded my part separate and then I mixed them together. So I will admit, what you're about to hear, unfortunately, we're not together bouncing ideas off each other like we did the first run that wasn't recorded correctly, but it's still our top 10 list and everything, so it's still pretty cool, I think. That's a little background for what you're about to hear, and I would like you to put below in the comments your top Phil Collins songs if you like Phil Collins, and if you don't like Phil Collins, maybe give him another chance, or if you don't really know Phil Collins at all, now you know what songs to recommend after you listen to this podcast. And then he wants to do a Tom Petty episode next. So again, I'm a casual Tom Petty fan. I know his hits, but I couldn't tell you much about him. That should be fun also. We're going to work on that. I think that's all I got. So now let's go to the podcast.
Here we go. So today's episode is going to feature one of my favorite artists of the 1980s. Mr. Phil Collins. He dominated the 80s. In particular, a time span ranging from 1981 to roughly 1996. But he was most predominantly on the airwaves from 1981 through 1989. And in that time span, he released 4 albums. So today we're going to talk about our top 10 songs and then rank our top 7 albums by him. He actually has 8 albums, but we are not going to include one because it's just an album of all covers. And then I might get into a few personal bitches of my own. Okay, so at number 10, I have a song called You Can't Hurry Love.
My mama said you can't hurry love. No, you just have to wait. She said love don't come easy, but it's a game of give and take. You can't hurry love. No, you just have to wait. Just trust in the good time, no matter how long it takes.
And we mentioned briefly already that we weren't going to discuss covers, but this is a classic Supremes cover song, You Can't Hurry Love. And specifically, I just love the passion in which he sings it and puts his own spin on it. And the video adds to what I'm talking about. It's plain and simple for that of the 80s. It's not animated or anything. It's just him in a dark room dancing, or his poor attempt to dance, shall we say. Which is one of the reasons I like this song. So that's my number 10 song.
Okay, my number 10 song is off the album But Seriously, and it's a song called Find a Way to My Heart. I just think this is a beautiful song, and I really enjoy the piano in the background.
Find a way to my heart, and I will always be with you from wherever you are. I'll be waiting.
My number 9 song is Can't Stop Lovin' You off the Testify album. Oh, and backtracking slightly, the You Can't Hurry Love was from Hello, I Must Be Going, Phil's second album. So number 9 is I Can't Stop Lovin' You from Testify.
I'll always be here by your side. I never wanted to say goodbye. I'm always here if you change your mind.
A catchy little tune. Some would say that it's not his best work, but again, we just like the passion, or I like the passion that he brings into recording this song.
Okay, my number 9 is a song called Like China, and this is from the Hello, I Must Be Going album. I think this is a very fun song to sing along to, and Phil Collins, he sounds sort of like the Artful Dodger from Oliver, and I actually found out he was in the play Oliver when he was a younger child, so that makes sense. So his accent goes very full-blown here. It's just a fun song.
I'll be so careful. I'll hold you like China. I promise not to hurt you. I'll hold you like China. You won't feel nothing. I'll hold you like China. 'Cause I know it's the first time.
Number 8 is from Face Value. It's called I Missed Again. And this is the second track. It goes largely unnoticed and unheralded thanks to the main song on Face Value, which of course is in the air tonight. But I Missed Again is just kind of futuristic, and it kind of sets the mood for most anything. Could be happy, could be sad. It's up to that particular listener to interpret.
I'm waiting in line. Would you say if I was wasting my time? Did I miss again? I think I missed again. Oh.
Very good selection there. I do like when Phil uses his falsetto, which he doesn't do very often, but that is a fun song. I agree there. Okay, my number 8 is going to be One More Night from the No Jacket Required. This was one, I've always loved this song, but my only issue is it does go on a tiny bit too long, I think. But it's such a good song and so beautiful, I had to put it in the top 10.
I've been trying for so long to let you know how I feel. And if I stumble, if I fall, just help me back so I can make you see.
Number 7 is the song Every Day from the Both Sides album. The Both Sides album was, in particular, a time of turmoil and strife for Mr. Collins. But that's neither here nor there. It shouldn't take anything away from the song. And I just like it because it's a little bit slower, but it just makes us think overall about our everyday life and the problems we're going through.
But every day I say I try to make my heart be still. Till in every way there is to cry ourselves to sleep. We will.
I do like that song. That is a very pretty song, so that's a good selection. It did not make my top 10, but I definitely enjoy that song. Okay, my number 7 is I Wish It Would Rain Down from But Seriously album. And this is just another fantastic song, and not much more to say about it.
Just let it rain down, let it rain
Okay, Bill, what is your number 6?
Is I Wish It Would Rain Down from the But Seriously album.
What are the odds of that?
Passion, intensity, rock. Eric Clapton is actually featured on it. He has a guitar solo in it, and I believe some of the backing vocals as well. So it's always nice when you get those special guest appearances on a song.
Now I wish it would rain down on me. Ooh, yes, I wish it would rain down on me now.
Okay, my number 6 is going to be Take Me Home from No Jacket Required. Just a fantastic song by the truly amazing Phil Collins.
So take me home, 'cause I don't remember. Take me home, 'cause I don't remember. Take me home.
Number 5 is the song One More Night from No Jacket Required. Some might consider this a bit of a Debbie Downer song, if you will, but it's about that one more chance at a relationship that never quite materialized. And it has a great piano hook, if you will. And again, I think if you go and watch the video is going to speak volumes to the actual song. Much like the song discussed earlier, which is You Can't Hurry Love, it's just Phil and his piano, just putting his all into the song.
Please give me one more night. Give me one more night. One more night. 'Cause I can't live forever. Give me just one more night. Ooh, just one more night. Oh, one more night. 'Cause I can't live forever.
Okay, my number 5 is going to be Both Sides of the Story on the Both Sides album. And I have loved this song ever since I was young. I even wrote down the lyrics to the song in a notebook, and I still have that notebook with the lyrics, and it's just such an amazing song lyrically, and it really touches the heart.
White man turns the corner, finds himself within a different world. Ghetto kid grabs his shoulder, throws him up against the wall. He says, would you respect me if I didn't have this gun? 'Cause without it, I don't get it, and that's why I carry one. We always need to hear both sides of the story.
Okay, Bill, what is your number 4?
Guest appearance here on the song Easy Lover. We have Phil Collins and Mr. Philip Bailey from Earth, Wind, and Fire. Rock and roll personified on this. Guitar riffs. Nothing more than that. Just passion and energy right from the very start, right through the end of the 5-minute plus song, which is also rare these days. 5-minute songs.
Easy lover, she'll get a hold on you, believe it. Like no other, before you know it, you'll be on your knees. She's an easy lover, she'll take your heart, but you won't feel it. She's like no other, and I'm just trying to make you see.
Okay, my number 4 is definitely one of Phil's classic songs, Another Day in Paradise. And again, this is just very well-written song, almost in the same style of Both Sides of the Story. Just how there are people out there less fortunate than others.
She calls out to the man on the street. Sir, can you help me? there somewhere you can tell me?
Next, we have number 3, In the Air Tonight, the Face Value album. And I like In the Air Tonight because In the Air Tonight is very futuristic. And of course, it's noted for that big drum solo right in the middle of it, which is one reason it's not my number 1 song, because it's overplayed and overused, like a lot of songs from the 80s, but most notably now it's used in the Monday Night Football preview opening, if you will. Players doing the air drum and air guitar, and Chris Stapleton doing a cover of it, and some other artists doing covers of that song. So tends to be a little bit overplayed. So number 3 on my list, In the Air Tonight.
Okay, I know I'm going to take a lot of heat from the Phil Collins fans out there, but I do not have In the Air Tonight on my top 10 list. I know that is against everything Phil Collins, but I can explain. I do like the song, and I give it props for being very ahead of its time, and I think it's a great song, don't get me wrong, but it's just not one that sticks in my head to where I want to listen to it over and over. But it is a great song. It's just not on my top 10 list. So I apologize to all of the Phil Collins fans out there. But my number 3 song is a song called Don't Let Him Steal Your Heart Away. And this is from the Hello, I Must Be Going album. I just love the lyrics to this song. And I think a lot of people can relate to these lyrics too, when you maybe care about a person and you see them with somebody else who you know is not the right person for them. And I just love this song. This is such an amazing song. I was surprised how high this ended up on my list, because as I was trying to narrow these songs down, every time I listened to this song, it just got better and better and better, and I kept moving it up the list higher and higher, and it settled at number 3. Fantastic song.
You were lonely and you needed a friend. He was there at the right time with the right smile, just a shoulder to lean on and someone to say, don't you worry, it'll all be alright. But he's no good for you. He'll make you think your whole life's been leading to this. And whatever you do, think about me. Oh, and don't be fooled by his kiss. Oh, no, no, no. And don't let him steal your heart away. Your heart away. Don't let him take it.
Number 2, Another Day in Paradise. Great song, very personal again, about not only Phil's life, but the world and the turbulent times in which we lived. Oh, shocker, we're still living in those turbulent times. So that's number 2.
Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Think about it.
Okay, my number 2 song is a song called Can't Stop Loving You off the Testify album. I adore this song. I think it is as close as you can get to the perfect pop song. Great melody. You just want to sing along. You could feel the emotion in Phil's voice and the lyrics. You feel his pain. You just want this woman to turn around and come back to him.
Because I can't stop loving you. Can't stop loving you. No, I can't stop loving you. I won't stop loving you. No, I won't stop
Number one, Against All Odds, Take a Look at Me Now, from, I believe, a movie also titled the same, Against All Odds. I have to double check on that.
I wish I could just make you turn around and see me cry. There's so much I need to say to you, so many reasons why. You're the only one who really knew me at all. So take a look at me now. Well, there's just an empty space. There's nothing left here to remind me. Just a memory of your face. Now take a look at me now.
Alright, that is a great song, by the way. I did not get to hear that on any of his albums since, like you said, it was on a movie soundtrack, so I did not even consider that one. But that's a great selection for number one. That is a very good song. Okay, it is now time for my number one. And nobody out there listening to this would be able to guess what my number one song is. It is one that I did not even know about until I began this project, and the song blew me away. I felt so many different emotions listening to this song. It is over 8 minutes long, and I feel it is Phil's masterpiece. I think it is his most amazing song ever, and again, I never hear anybody talk about it for some reason, so I don't know if I'm alone in this or if there are other fans of this song out there. It takes you on a roller coaster of emotions. It starts off slow. You think, okay, pretty song, but he has a lot of songs like this. And then there's about a minute or two of just this amazing instrumental where it sounds like you're going on a train ride. I know it doesn't sound like a train, but that's sort of what I pictured in my head. I felt like I was going on a journey, and then the song just totally takes a turn and starts rocking, and it's just like, is this the same song? And it's a roller coaster of emotions. I cannot say enough good things about this, and I urge everybody out there to go listen to this song because you may not know it. This is my number one Phil Collins song of all time, Colors.
What makes you so high and mighty? What makes you so qualified? You can sit there and say how many have the freedom, but how many more have died? You decide to sit in judgment, try to play God yourself. Ooh, but someday soon the buck is gonna stop with you and no one else. No matter what you say, no matter what you say, never gets any better. No matter what you do, no matter what you never see any change. No matter what you say, no matter what you never gets any better. No matter what you do, no matter what you never see any change.
I also had a top 19 songs because I had to narrow it down. So some of the songs that did not make the top 10 were Two Hearts, True Colors, I Cannot Believe It's True from Hello, I Must Be Going. We also have Separate Lives and Groovy Kind of Love. Separate Lives, of course, featured him and Marilyn Martin, so he did feature numerous people, again, on some of his material. Marilyn Martin, Philip Bailey, we talked about. Another song we didn't kick around a little bit was Hero with David Crosby from Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And that was the song Hero with David Crosby. Billy, Don't Lose My Number was a very notable song. Long, Long Way From Home and Inside Out were a couple that didn't make my top 10.
Okay, I liked your list of notables there. I also have a few songs that barely missed the top 10. Here's the way I do it, and I'll try to make this short because it is sort of a lengthy process, but I go through every album and then I rate the songs a 4 if I believe the song would be like on a greatest hits album, a 3 if it's a really good song but not quite a greatest hits song, a 2 if it's a song that's not bad but I may skip it every now and then if I'm listening to the album, and then a 1, which means I will always skip the song when I'm listening to the album. So that's how I rate every song. So I ended up with 25 songs that I considered going to a greatest hits album, which is pretty impressive. I was able to narrow that down to 15. So once I got down to 15, it was excruciating trying to cut 5 songs. Oh my goodness. So these are the 5 that it broke my heart that they could not make the top 10. So we have Something on the Way to Heaven, such a good song, and Don't Lose My Number. Those two are similar in that you just want to dance and sing along. They're very good songs. Inside Out, oh, I wanted this to make it so bad. It's such a good song, another really good one. And then this Love This Heart was sort of a dark horse in this. That really kept moving up my charts as well, but it just barely missed out. And then Bill gave me some slack about I wasn't a big fan of the Both Sides album, but I did give it more of a chance. And there was a song on there that came out of nowhere and just took over my life for the last few days, and it was called We're Sons of Our Fathers. I love this song. It starts off so strange because it sounds like a hoedown with Phil singing with his Texas accent, and then all of a sudden it turns into a beautiful song, and he doesn't even do that accent the rest of the song. So it's a strange song, but it really stuck with me, and I wanted it to make the top 10, but I just didn't have room for it. So those are the 5 songs that barely missed out. And also, one other thing I forgot to add is Bill is the biggest Phil Collins fan on the planet, I think. That's his favorite artist of all time. As for me, I was more of a casual Phil Collins fan. Like, I knew all of his hits, but I didn't really know any of his albums or anything, or his history, and all that stuff with Genesis. So I learned so much during this project. So I think hopefully it was fun for everybody out there to see how a diehard Phil Collins fan has a list of a top 10 songs, and then someone who does not really know too much about Phil, but now did a lot of research, and you could see how my top 10 is.
This brings us to the top 10 albums. I'm sorry, the top 7 albums, ranked in order. We will go from 7 to number 1. 7 being the worst, 1 being the absolute best. So, number 7, we have the album Dance Into the Light. This was his attempt at going, some would say, following in the footsteps of his Genesis predecessor, Peter Gabriel. It's very futuristic. He experimented with some African beats and rhythms. Dance Into the Light, of course, was a top track of the same name from the same album. We also have another story about going too far, kind of upbeat, and Love Police, but I don't think it's his best effort. Number 6 for me, Testify, recorded in 2002, 2003. Nothing too catchy or too flashy, too noteworthy on this. But the hit, of course, being Can't Stop Loving You from Testify. Other noteworthy songs, Wake Up Call. And that's about it. Nothing too catchy or flashy. One of those albums where he did most of the work himself. All the drum material and all the little effects, sound effects, if you will, and whatnot. Number 5, Every Day. And my partner and I probably will disagree on the Both Sides. I call it the Everyday album, but it's really the Both Sides album. Because Every Day was such a big hit. Sold 3 million copies, which is a feat in its own right. For not a particularly catchy or noteworthy song on there. We both do like Both Sides. I like Every Day. There's also We Wait and We Wonder, and I Cannot Turn Back the Years, which are noteworthy tracks. Number 4, we have Hello, I Must Be Going, recorded in 1982. Hello, I Must Be Going features I Don't Care Anymore, of course the cover of the Supremes' You Can't Hurry Love, Hold You Like China, where he distorts his voice a little. I wanna hold you like China, gonna be fine like China. Kind of noteworthy there that he started to experiment a little bit in his sophomore effort with various voice changes. That brings us to number 3, which was Face Value. We already talked about, featured in the air tonight. Droned, very futuristic, and Missed Again. Then number 2, But Seriously, recorded in 1989. I debated where to put this. I mean, I like all the songs in there. Very solid songs. We have, of course, Another Day in Paradise from there. Wish It Would Rain Down. Something Happened on the Way to Heaven. That's the Way It Is. And then Heat on the Street. Very noteworthy tracks. Do you remember? Another big hit from But Seriously. And then number 1, No Jacket Required. One More Night. Studio. Take Me Home, which he ends all his concerts with. So there you go, the top 7 albums.
Okay, great list. I actually think our lists are very similar. My number 7 is Dance Into the Light. And this was the only album I had that I did not have one track that I would put on a Phil Collins Greatest Hits album. I liked pretty much every song on this album except Ought to Know By Now was the only song I could not get into. But all the rest I really enjoyed. Just nothing stood out to where I'm like, that's going on the Greatest Hits album. So that is the reason this album is number 7. Still a good album though. And then number 6, I have Both Sides. Like I mentioned before, I do have a little more respect for this album. The standout songs, obviously Both Sides of the Story. Every Day, a great song. We're Sons of Our Fathers, like I mentioned before. And I liked We Wait and We Wonder. That is a very good song as well. And then my number 5 album is Testify. I love Wake Up Call. Bill used to play that song all the time at 3 in the morning to wake me up. And then we have This Love, This Heart. I really enjoyed that one. And of course, Can't Stop Loving You, the highlight of the album. And then my number 4 is Phil's debut solo track, that is, Face Value. And that, of course, includes the classics In the Air Tonight. And I also liked The Roof is Leaking. And Hand in Hand is a very good one as well. Then my number 3 is Hello, I Must Be Going, which was his sophomore effort. Like China, like I mentioned before, I loved. Don't Let 'Em Steal Your Heart Away, great one. And then Why Can't It Wait Till Morning? And then my number 2 is No Jacket Required. And this one has some great tunes like One More Night, Don't Lose My Number, Inside Out, and Take Me Home. And the number 1 album from Phil Collins, But Seriously. This was, to me, by far the best album, with hits like Hangin' Long Enough, Do You Remember, Something Happened on the Way to Heaven, Colors, I Wish It Would Rain Now, Another Day in Paradise, and Find a Way to My Heart. Just a spectacular album. There is not one song on that entire album I did not enjoy. And that is pretty rare when you listen to an album beginning to end. And real quick before Bill gets into the rest of the podcast, I do have some statistics here for everybody who likes stats. My top 10, I had 4 songs from But Seriously, so everybody knew that was going to be my favorite album. I had 2 from Hello, I Must Be Going, 2 from No Jacket Required, 1 from Testify, and 1 from Both Sides. Bill had 2 from But Seriously, 2 from Face Value, and then 1 on Testify, Hello, I Must Be Going, No Jacket Required, Both Sides, and then 2 of them not on any of those albums, so he spread it out pretty well there. We agreed on 4 of the top 10. Bill, we should have predicted how many songs we would agree on. That I don't know how many I would have said, but we agreed on 4, and those are Another Day in Paradise, One More Night, I Wish It Would Rain Down, and Can't Stop Loving You. Then for the notable songs that barely missed the list, Bill and I agreed on Inside Out and Billy Don't Lose My Number. So those are some statistics for you to chew on. All right, Bill, take it away.
That's it for my end of the podcast. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.